well, looks like something's buggered up on my camera there. The colour's gone all fucking wanky again. Oh, well,
It looks alright. Looks alright from here. You look a lot brighter than you did in the first video. I don't know what you did. About halfway through that video, your contrast and balance seemed to go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I noticed that it wasn't working too great. Of course, there's nothing I can do about it. And then suddenly, bing, it was all right. Okay, yeah. Good evening, fuckers. We are back for one final time as we reach part 4 of the top 40 greatest metal songs of all time. And yeah, I am once again joined by the Masters Hammer fan club here.
Yeah, righto. Yeah, it's good to join forces with a typo negative.
Yeah, I'm fucking lifelong president, mate. Yeah. I'm wondering if this part is going to have any choices that are, yeah, going to have such strong negative feelings from each other. I think actually that is a resounding no. They won't. I think
maybe,
more.
I don't know.
Well, I personally think that of all of the like the 4 lists of 10, this one has the best chance of you liking everything on it. So, with one possible exception, because yeah, there is black metal here. So,
well, we'll see. I know I've got at least one where you can't stand the band on this list, but you know I could be wrong on this song because I mean, you don't like Obituary and you've had one of their songs in your top 40, so.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got another such song in this list where I can't stand the band, but I do like this particular song. So yeah, Obituary aren't quite the one-off. Yeah, we do have another example to come. But anyway, that is for later on. We shall dive straight in and have your song number 31.
Okay, here's one you probably know.
great song. I fucking love that song. Confession time, I completely forgot all about this. If I'd remembered, it would have been on mine.
Oh, that's fair enough. Faith No More, who that was, with From Out of Nowhere from 1989's The Real Thing. They're a band that the first time I heard them was before that come out, and I heard Introduce Yourself, and obviously the famous song on that was We Care a Lot, when Chuck Mosley was on vocals.
Yeah, I can't stand that one myself.
Yeah, I like it, and I like a lot of Faith No More. I've got everything but their most recent album that only come out 4 or 5 years ago. But I preferred this lineup of Faith No More with Jim Martin on guitar, and I mean Mike Patton. He's a strange one, Mike Patton. I mean, some
He's
of the
a
stuff he's
fucking
done,
lunatic.
he is. He's absolutely fucking nuts, but he's entertaining with it. Anything from getting his cock out on stage to drinking pints of vomit, I think. He's just absolutely mental. I mean, some of his side bands he's had, like Mr. Bungle and stuff like that, are fucking
Yeah.
off the wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Faith No More, I was always going to have a song, and it was always going to be from The Real Thing, and with the exception of Epic, which is Faith No More's Seek and Destroy.
Yeah.
I had a real hard time choosing a song. First, I had Surprise You're Dead, their thrashy vampire song. And then I changed it to Zombie Eaters because I don't know why they've called that Zombie Eaters, but it's a great song. And I went, and then it was falling to pieces. I didn't know which one to pick. And in the end, I just settled on this one because it's a good album opener. And I thought, well, if it's a good album opener, knowing that I was going first for this one, or more than likely I was going to be going first, I thought, fuck it, it's a good show opener, so there it is.
Yeah, for me, if I was choosing Faith No More, it nailed on, it would be this. Yeah, I fucking love this song. Yeah, Mike Patton is I think he's a fucking head case. Did you know I was related to him?
Are you really, though?
No.
Because for a start, his name's spelt differently.
Yeah, so yeah, his name ends O-N, not E-N, so yeah. Of course, he does a lot of stuff with a certain John Zorn, and has frequently done vocals for the bands Naked City and Painkiller, both of which I am a fan, but I think it's fair to say you're not.
Painkiller are good for entertainment value. That is a saxophone playing overdrive on that one.
Yeah. Although, I mean, if you're in any way familiar with John Zorn's music, I mean, yeah, it's never going to be mainstream, you know. But yeah, I don't think he's ever had anything to do with Faith No More. So I think, yeah, that's where the connection ends. Just that Mike Patton has sung for both bands, or 3 bands. Yeah, he's got quite the distinctive voice, hasn't he? My light is constantly flickering, just to be really annoying.
Yeah. Well, you look all right from this end, but there you go.
I think it's packed. It's packed it in now. So yeah, we're all right.
Yeah. Mike Patton has got a distinctive voice. And you know, when he does sing, I mean, when Faith No More covered the Commodores song "Easy." I mean, all right, he didn't quite get the high notes like Lionel Richie can, but I'll tell you what, it weren't fucking bad. It was a really good attempt.
And of course, he did a great version of War Pigs, the Black Sabbath classic.
Yeah.
I'd say almost as good as Sacred Reich's version.
Almost, not quite.
Yeah.
Almost. Of course, it'd be remiss of me not to be childish when Faith No More appear. And there's one member of the band who's a gay man, and it was no end of mirth when I was a teenager with my mates that his name was Roddy Bottom. So I mean,
yeah,
you know,
I mean, yeah. When you're
teenagers will laugh.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you're a teenager and you find something like that out, yeah, it provides no end of entertainment. That does it?
No, it don't. I tell you what, he's a fucking good keyboard player.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear that very often in metal. That particular band member is a great keyboard player, but I have thought for years, need decades, that keyboards absolutely belong in metal. There are so many songs that prove that. That when you still hear people today who say, "Oh no fucking keyboards in metal," why? Why can't you? Just listen to the likes of, well, listen to this. Listen to Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. If you like black metal, listen to Emperor Bjornsson. They all use keyboards and they all sound fucking great. I think by now, come on, keyboards belong in metal.
There's nothing wrong with keyboards. I mean, you say Seventh Son, but I think after Fear of the Dark, certainly on some of the Blaze stuff, and then onwards when Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith come back, Maiden use keyboards. A lot of people moan about it. I don't think Steve Harris gives a fuck because he makes the music he wants to make.
Well, yeah. That's one of the great things about Maiden, Steve Harris in particular. You can moan all you like about it. He ain't gonna fucking listen. If he wants to put them in there, he'll put them in. The end.
Yeah, and I mean, Empire of the Clouds, you had Bruce Dickinson playing a piano keyboard on that, so...
Yeah, and it was certainly a damn sight fucking better than November Rain.
Yeah, by quite a huge magnitude.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, we do seem to have gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but what a great choice for getting in this one started. I love From Out of Nowhere. Great song.
Excellent. Fuck me, Luke Hoser approves.
Right. Well, I don't know if my number one is going to be quite so clear cut. In fact, I know it's not going to be clear cut. I don't know if you're going to rate this or not. I think you're going to go one or two extremes. You're either going to say, "Oh no, it's fucking shit," or you're going to think it's fucking great. But I don't know which. So this is a black metal band, or at least they were. By the time this album came along and this particular song, they weren't anymore. Let's hear it.
What the fuck was that?
Now, was that in a good way or a bad way?
I'm gonna take a minute to process that. That sounded to me like someone crashed a car into a vinyl record shop and they got the work experience kid to super glue the records back together, and that's the best he could do. And I didn't hate it. I wasn't over keen on what seemed like the jump cuts in the song. I think they could have segued it a bit better. But yeah, fuck me. How many bleeding fucking genres of music do you want in one tune? I'm on the fence at the moment. I don't know what to make of that. Who is it?
Right. Well, you were going through all the countries that this list has covered. Well, you can now include Japan to that list. So that was the band Psy, and the song was called A Sunset Song, and it's from the album Imaginary Sonicscapes. And your reaction there was basically the reaction of everybody when this album came out. No one was expecting anything like this. These guys were a black metal. When they released their debut album, they were signed to Death Like Silence Productions, which was the label Euronymous ran. And they've gone from that to this. What a transformation. And no one really knew what to make of it. A lot of people didn't like it. They just wanted them to stick with doing black metal. Some people, including me, fucking loved it. For the moment I first heard this album, I thought, this is fucking phenomenal. And this is another band I interviewed. And I used to tape trade with Muir, who is the front man and the founder of the band. He's a properly decent bloke, and as you can quite clearly hear, he has some seriously fucking left field ideas about music writing. And in this, he really, not just this song, this entire album, he really just basically said, right, I've got all these ideas, we're going to use all of them, and you end up with an album that is utterly unique and I think is utterly fantastic.
I mean, it started off like something from Starsky and Hutch. Then it went metal. Then it went black metal. I think the only thing that was missing from this song was some deep country honk. I didn't hate it. It was like interesting. I just wanted to listen to see what the fuck they was gonna do next, and they had like a bleeding breakdancing hip hop section in the middle. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I must admit, I when I knew that bit was coming, I sort of like was keeping my eye on you to see what's the reaction going to be, and he did sort of look like, what the fucking hell is going on here,
Jesus Christ, what a fucking mix. I don't know if I could do a whole album of that. I think it would probably send me scatty, but I didn't hate that. I actually thought it was all right. The vocals were of the better kind of black metal type of vocals. But yeah, it's going to be a long time till I hear another song like that. Jesus, that was that was unexpected.
The album doesn't carry on like that all the way through. I mean, I was going to play the song Ecstatic Transformation, which, to be honest, with the exception of the still somewhat black metal-esque sort of vocal style, could easily sound like it had been done by, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple or something like that. Obviously a bit heavier, but still very much in that sort of vein. I think I may have actually sent you that one before, but if I haven't, I'll send you that one later. You listen to that and you think, well, how the fuck can that possibly be from the same album as this song I've just heard? It's the album goes all over the place, but I think it works. I fucking love this album. This is one of my all-time favourite metal albums. This.
Well, that's fair. I think I'm still shell shocked from that barrage of stuff that just came at me. I think that was a good analogy of a record being super glued back together and because that's what it was like. Because they weren't clear jumps either. It was like la 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 la. You know?
Yeah, and that was intentional. It wasn't like, you know, bad production, bad editing or whatever. That was 100% intentional. They wanted it to sound like that. So the fact that you're thinking that means, yeah, it worked. Whether it works is a good thing or a bad thing, I think is very much down to you know, personal interpretation. Personally, yeah, I think it sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that weren't horrible. I don't think I'm likely to become a fan, but yeah, you've played far worse while we've been making these videos than that. That was actually all right. It was just like you know, when they say something assaults your senses, it was like that, because it had that weird sort of like 70s funky beginning, and then all of a sudden. I wasn't expecting, when you said they used to be a black metal band, I was expecting like they're not in my list, but I like the band Volbeat, and Volbeat play it's kind of heavy rock and roll and it's got country elements, but it hasn't. And like, one of the guitarists was in Anthrax for a while. I think the singer was in either a black or a death metal band. And that's what I thought I was getting. I thought, all right, we've got one of these bands that have totally changed direction. Then the song changed direction about 12 times.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, they certainly did change direction. Yeah, quite frequently. Yes, well, there you go. A start that, yeah, I don't think anybody was expecting. Certainly not you. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was Psy with a Sunset Song. Yeah.
The rest of my list's going to be tame compared to that. But I don't know. See what you make of this lot.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's another new genre I've just dropped in.
Yeah, I'm as mystified by that as you were by Psy. It, it, uh, it sort of sounds like old school thrash, but it's clearly not.
I can tell
I'm
you
really
that came out in 1992, so it's not that new either.
no. I mean, I don't like that chanted, chorus. I've never liked that sort of like chant style singing, which the whole chorus was. So yeah, I hated the chorus. The rest of it, I'm sort of I don't know what to make of it. I've no idea who that is.
That was Propane. The song was the title track to the album "Foul Taste of Freedom." They're a crossover, crossover thrash band. I'm not exactly sure what a crossover band is really, but they're in the same. They're lumped in the same category as bands like Biohazard and DRI and stuff like that.
I was just gonna say, yeah, DRI. Yeah, you can hear it. I mean, their songs. Well, that song went on for about the same length as about 12 DRI songs, but nevertheless, yeah, you could hear there was DRI sort of like influences there. I wasn't all that struck on it. I didn't hate it, but yeah, it's definitely not the sort of thing that I would listen to.
The one thing I will say about that song is 30 years old, and I've got a few friends that live in America, and the lyrics of that song are very resonant to what's happening in that country today. So, yeah, it looks like history is repeating itself over there for things like that, tax hikes and what have you. So,
hard to believe that, isn't it? Eh? I mean, yeah, that never happens.
No.
No.
Yeah, well, obviously, I am quite a fan of that. That was one. In fact, that was. I used to have a tape, and I had that on one side, and I had Chaos AD by Sepultura on the other side, and that was that for a couple of months. That was my going to college, not going to college, going to work tape in the personal stereo.
It's quite a combination, yeah.
Well, you've seen the amount of fucking different stuff I've thrown at you with this list. I mean,
yeah.
I do have a wide range going on.
Yeah, that is for sure. That wasn't my sort of thing at all. It's not the like I already said. Yeah, I don't think it's shit, but yeah, it's not. That's not the style that really sort of like interests me. It certainly doesn't grab me. Yeah, that stuff that I can give or take, and whenever I feel that way about music, then I give it.
That's fair enough.
You've played worse, that's for sure.
So have you.
Well, with that in mind, we'll go on to my song 32, and we're back into the grindcore camp. And when it comes to grindcore, there are no bands that are as big as this lot. There we go.
short and to the point, that one.
Oh, yes. So, that was...
Well, you know, the easy answer would be Napalm Death.
Yeah, that was Napalm Death. Yeah, that was the title track to the From Enslavement to Obliteration album. That was the last line he sang, as I'm sure you heard. Yeah, I mean, there's not much that I can say about Napalm Death that you haven't heard a million times before. You know, they are absolutely one of those bands that you either love them or you hate them. I fucking love Napalm Death, or this era Napalm Death. After this, they went on to do the Mentally Murdered EP, and then Bill Steer and Lee Dorian left, and the band went down the fucking toilet faster than yeah, anything you can imagine.
Not a fan of Barney Greenaway, then?
No, I'm not a Barney fan. You know, when he joined, Napalm Death, they pretty much, you know, for the what was that album, Harmony Corruption, wasn't it, the album that they did when he joined, and they sort of sounded like a sort of cross between grindcore and death metal, and you listen to it and you think, it sounds like they've jumped on the bandwagon that they fucking started in the first place, and it's, oh, it was a massive step backwards. It was awful. So yeah, when it comes to Napalm Death, I'm all about the Lee Dorian and Bill Steer era. You know, every one of their Peel sessions that they did fucking loads. John Peel was forever inviting them into the studio to record sessions, and every single one they did was with Lee Dorian and Bill Steer. Since the lineup change, yeah, he never bothered. Obviously, he's never going to now.
No.
So yeah, that's what they were all about, and for me, this was when they were at their peak. I don't know if you remember a children's program called "What's That Noise," which was presented by Craig Charles, and yeah, it was all about different music genres, and they had Napalm Death on there, and they performed this song, and yeah, fucking great. Fucking Napalm Death performing on a children's program. I was like, yeah, fuck you, all right.
I don't remember seeing that. I remember the program. Yeah, you say that you either love or you hate Napalm Death. I like Napalm Death. I wouldn't say I love them. And yeah, I preferred their early stuff, and I've got, I think, more than love their music or like their music, I've got a huge respect for what they did, because they kind of brought grindcore to the masses.
Yeah.
You know, there was they were on that arena show that was on, you know, the heavy metal one.
Their appearance on that, I think, was what really caused grindcore to take off in a big way in this country. Yeah.
You know, when you're appearing on the same program as such luminaries as Bruce Dickinson and Ozzy Osbourne, and you know, Megadeth were on there as well. You know, all these stuff, and you had Napalm Death, and of course they performed Scum in its entirety.
That's right. Yeah.
Seconds of it. The only thing on that program that makes me remember back and go, oh God. It's the bloke in Nottingham Rock City walking around with his hands behind his back, bent over head banging, walking around in circles.
Yeah, when and he was doing that to Brain Death by Nuclear Assault. Yeah, I even remember the song that was being played at the time. Yeah, I remember that all too well. Yeah.
I think I might actually have that program somewhere on one of my hard drives.
I keep looking for it on YouTube. I know at some point it will appear, but yeah, I keep looking to find it. I haven't had any luck yet, but I would really love to, watch that again. It's been decades since I last saw it. Yeah, I obviously.
I have got it.
I mean, obviously, yeah, I did record it when it was shown because I was around my mate's house when it was on. We were both watching it, and that was the first time I heard Napalm Death, as I'm sure was the case for a lot of people.
It was for me as well.
Yeah, and it was on a Friday. Next day, I was down the local independent record shop. Yeah, I bought Scarman from him so they could do Obliteration. And I remember the woman behind the counter, her name was Karen, and I had an enormous crush on her. And when I was going in there and I was buying, like, Maiden, Metallica, Halloween and all that, and she'd look at me and say, oh yeah, this is really good, this, That day I went in there and said, yeah, I'll have these two, and she looked at me and she's like, oh no, you're not buying this shit, are you? Like, yeah.
Yeah, you had a huge crush on her, and then she dried up, and it was never to be.
That was never gonna happen. Yeah.
No, yeah, I've got a massive respect for what Napalm Death did for extreme music. Appearing on that program was what did it, because that was the first time I heard them. And the takeaway thing always was Shane Embry's afro, because his hair was just untamable.
Yeah, it did. It really did look like the top of his head had just exploded. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, From Enslavement to Obliteration by Napalm Death by song number 32.
Which means I've got to do song number 33.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm safe in this one to be able to say, here's one you like.
It's time for your medication, Mr. Brown.
I've been told I live alone.
are fucking deserving of its place as an Anthrax classic. But I had it fucking nailed on that you were going to be playing I Am the Law for this lot.
Well, it was this or I Am the Law, and I couldn't decide because I think this is a fucking great song.
Yeah.
I couldn't decide, and I didn't flip a coin. I chose this one purely because we played I Am the Law in the Thrash video, so we spoke about it. Because I couldn't decide between the two, so I just used the fact that I hadn't played this one before. So
as good a reason as any. I mean, you don't need a reason to fucking want to listen to this one. Yeah, what a fucking great song. I think it's definitely the best song on Spreading the Disease, and it's not like there's any shortage of great songs on that album.
no,
But yeah, I think this one wins out. I mean, you've got Medusa, which I think is great. AIR, I think is great, but yeah, this is top of the shot for that album.
yeah, and I mean, where Anthrax are concerned, with the Joey Belladonna era, he's got such a distinctive voice, and no one else sounds like Joey Belladonna. He's very unique in the way he sings. And I mean, don't get me wrong, where Anthrax are concerned, I didn't mind John Bush, of Armored Saint when he joined.
They did some all right stuff with him. I mean, I thought the Stomp 442 album was a great album. So yeah, but he's not Joey Belladonna, is he?
No, he's not. But then Joey Belladonna's been back for a couple of albums now. So
Yeah,
their last album was all right. I thought it was good enough to buy anyway. On the strength of the lead track, which was quite soft for an Anthrax song. I mean, they were playing it on Planet Rock for fuck's sakes, but it was still a good tune, and it was still undeniably Anthrax. And then I heard another tune, a more thrashy number, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to have that album, and I did. I bought it. It's but yeah, Madhouse is a fucking brilliant song.
Yeah, and rather stating the obvious, but of the big four, Joey Belladonna is far and away the best singer of the four frontmen. And yeah, like you say, very, very distinctive style. And I also think this song it set the template for their next two albums at least, possibly even their next three, because it wasn't taking itself too seriously. It had that what has since become the archetypal sort of Anthrax structure. And yeah, they used that extensively throughout Among the Living, State Euphoria, and yeah, to a degree, Persistence of Time as well. So yeah, this really was quite the milestone for Anthrax. This one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be fair to say if Anthrax had a genre all of their own, it would be party thrash, wouldn't it? Because they always have a good time.
Yeah. Which I think works great when you're listening to the band, but I'm going on the very safe assumption that you have either watched or used to own Oidiv Nuku Fessin.
Yeah.
See, I didn't rate that very much. I found that irritating. The way Anthrax are constantly running around the stage and that all the time, that did start to really get on my tits after a very short while, actually. I wasn't so keen on that. So, yeah, I'd listen to them, well, I'd probably listen to live shows, and, I'd certainly listen to their studio stuff. I wouldn't want to go and watch them live, though. I mean, I somehow doubt they still do that these days. Actually, knowing that, yeah, they still do, yeah.
Yeah, they probably still do. Yeah. I know Scott Ian still stomps about. I don't know if he runs about like he used to, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, fucking great song. And you can't claim to be an Anthrax fan if you don't rate that song, it's yeah, fucking fantastic.
It is a classic.
Right, so we go on to my number 33, and fuck me, what a contrast. Yep, let's hear it.
I feel I should know who that is, but I can't place it. But yeah, that was pretty good. That was some nice doomy stuff.
Epic Doom. That was Saint Vitus, and the song was Dragon Time from the Mournful Cries album. And I'm a huge Saint Vitus fan, but particularly this era. We've spoken about like the Holy Triumvirate of Slayer, and then later on with Sepultura. It also applies to Saint Vitus. Like the three big albums for them were Mournful Cries, Born Too Late, and V. Also known as the Wino years, because that was the era when Scott Weinreich was the front man. Fantastic vocalist, great guitarist, and a fucking truly epic fucking doom band. I'm trying to come up with a way of describing Saint Vitus. The best I could think up was the bastard offspring of Black Sabbath and Motorhead.
I was just gonna say honestly, I was just about to say a Black Sabbath emulator.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. I can't get enough of these guys. I think they are just behind Solitude Eternus for being like my favourite doom metal band. They are one of those bands where, you know, if you've never heard them before, but you see like a band photo, and then you hear their music and you think, yeah, that's exactly what I thought they would sound like. You know?
Yeah, I'm aware of their look. Yeah, I've never had any of their stuff, but I have heard quite a lot of it. I'm pretty sure I've heard that one before, and yeah, that was fucking great. You know, what was that? That was 7 minutes and 26 seconds, and it went by in an instant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you know they've got the formula right, because, I mean, there's no getting away from it. If you get Doom wrong, it's going to fucking drag on and on and on. You never get that problem when you're listening to this lot.
No, not at all. Well, not from anything I've heard anyway. Yeah, that's a fucking great choice.
But yeah, if you want to check out some more of theirs, and I can't recommend it highly enough, then yeah, those three albums in particular, so Mournful Cries, Born Too Late, and V, those are the three to go after. Yeah, you can't go wrong with them.
No, I'll have to give them another look. I've got a feeling my next choice is going to be somewhat faster and a bit less doomy than Saint Vitus.
Yeah, I don't find that hard to believe.
I'm not entirely sure you're going to like it though, but I'll give it a go, eh?
Nothing is left for you now. Having
You know, the cynic in me can't help but think you chose that song because you knew it's one of the very few Kreator songs that I like. But yeah, I know that me liking it or not had nothing to do with it. But yeah, that is one of those very rare Kreator songs that I actually don't mind.
I didn't know that you didn't mind that. I thought the only one you heard you didn't mind was Servant in Heaven, King in Hell that I played in the Thrash video. Other than that, I just thought you were going to fucking hate that. But it does bemuse me that you don't like Kreator because they play really fast, heavy music. And they have got to be an influence on some of the black metal because of the way he spits his lyrics out.
I can't
Bear in
picture
mind
it really.
that was 1987, so that's you know that's back far enough to influence some people.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Put it this way: if it did influence any black metal bands, none of them admitted it. Because let's face it, you know, yet again, it was all a case of, oh, it's the thing. No, we were influenced by Battery and Celtic Frost, and that's it. Honest, you know. So it could be, but yeah, if that was the case, then they kept very quiet about it. I know one band that they certainly influenced was a band called Sadus, but they were shit. You know, as much as I hate Kreator, Sadus were far worse. So. Yeah, that's not good.
I don't hate Kreator, as you know.
No, certainly not. I didn't realise this was as early as '87. So this is from the album that preceded Extreme Aggressions, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah. This was that was the title track to Terrible Certainty from '87. And I remember the first time I heard that. I heard the live version of that on the EP, Out of the Dark into the Light, or Out of the Light into the Dark, whatever they fucking called it. Yeah, there's a live version of that on there, and I don't know I can't remember where they were playing it live, but it had a slight echo on the guitars to that main riff when it starts, and it sounded really fucking good. And then I just had to get the album after that. I thought it's such a great song. Yeah, I had no idea you like that one. I was sitting there thinking, God, he's going to fucking moan about this. Even though it sounds like half of the black metal he's played, he's still going to moan about it.
No, that's the difference is enough. Even though it may not sound like much. I mean, yeah, you can certainly hear there is, you know, a similarity there between the death metal, the black metal vocals and Kreator's vocals there, but the difference is in the guitar sound, especially the guitar sound, and the drum sound. Drums in black metal don't tend to be very prominent, whereas I find them extremely prominent, especially in this song. And yeah, the guitar sounds totally different. And because of those differences, I find that the black metal vocal fits in a bit better. With this, I find his vocal style just, yeah, it just doesn't mix in with it as well.
The main difference between this and black metal is Kreator can actually fucking play.
Yeah, I was waiting for something like that. I thought you were going to say, yeah, the main difference is that, yeah, black metal shit and Kreator are good, you know. So.
No, I have at no point, apart from one song, said that black metal is shit, and it was just that one song was dog shit.
Nothing wrong with a bit of Master's Hammer.
I don't tend to say things are shit, and if I do say they're shit, I just mean I don't like them. I don't mean.
Yeah. I know.
I have this argument a lot about a lot of things. Like, just because I think it's shit doesn't mean I think it's shit. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, in a similar vein, something that you've pointed out several times, and I keep meaning to do and I keep forgetting, when we say such and such is, you know, a band's best song. Actually, what we mean is it's our favourite song.
Yeah.
It may not, musically be their best, but yeah, that and I keep meaning to stress that, and I keep forgetting to do so. But yeah, you mentioned it in a few videos, so you saved me the job there.
Well,
So, I mean, for me, I would actually say that it not only is my favourite Kreator song, but yeah, I would say it's their best because it's one of only two that I actually, can stomach. I mean, Kreator are one of those bands that, one of many, where I bought an album of theirs without having heard anything at all. So I bought Extreme Aggressions based on, there's quite a big sort of article in Metal Hammer when the album came out, and so they had the guys from Kreator there, and they were describing the album, describing each, and they were going through it song by song. So he went through it quite detailed, and I thought, yeah, it sounds like this is going to be something really great, and yeah, so I went and bought it, and yeah, I fucking hated it. I mean, it could be that Extreme Aggressions just isn't a very good Kreator album, and I just got off to a really bad start. I don't know, but yeah, it was bad enough for me to think, no, I don't want anything more by this lot.
Well, I mean, I sent you a link to their latest video last week, and you were pretty much in the same agreement. I don't think it was Extreme Aggression. I just don't think Kreator in your ears are going to ever get on.
No, not really. This song is pretty much a one-off, I couldn't tell you why this song works, but yeah, it does. But yeah, the rest of it, no, I'm never going to be a Kreator fan,
Yeah, no, you can put your cynic to bed. I didn't pick that in the hope you'd like it. I picked it because I fucking like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you knew that I rated this one, but oh well, there you go. A bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise for me actually. I was expecting that song to finish, and you go, oh, I knew you were going to put fucking Kreator in here. And I was just on the defensive.
I mean, I did know that Kreator were going to appear. Although, to be fair, after doing the third album, third list, because for the benefit of everyone watching, yeah, we basically started doing part 4 as soon as we finished part 3. Yeah, by the time we got to the end of that, I'd actually forgotten about Kreator, and then as this started, I was like, oh, fucking hell, yeah, it's them, innit? And then he got to the riff that I recognised, and I was like, oh, okay, well, at least he's chosen this one, Yes. Well, go on to my number 34 then, and for this one we are going back to the grindcore stable, and I'm interested in what you'll make of this one. Let's hear it.
It was all right. I I wasn't the biggest fan of the vocal style in that, but it did make me realise what it is I like about grindcore and death metal that I don't like about black metal, and it's the fact that no matter what grindcore song you play, it's always got a really good bottom end with the bass, and that probably because of Euronymous always seems to be missing from black metal. It's got a very hollow sound,
Yeah.
whereas death metal and grindcore has got some grunt, and I like music that's got some grunt on it. I mean, even when I played the Beastie Boys in part one, it's got that jung 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 underneath everything.
Yeah.
And, I think that's what's missing in black metal. I wasn't a massive fan of the vocals in that one. And the two fast bits I could take or leave, but the middle section with the two solos in, I thought was fucking good.
Any idea who that was?
No.
All right. Well, that was Carcass, and that song was Cadaveric Incubator of Endoparasites, which is on the Symphonies of Sickness album. For me, this era of Carcass, this is my favourite era. Not the production was kept almost to a minimum. It was very sort of it still had that very raw sound. I totally agree with what you were saying about this music has bollocks, and black metal doesn't, and that is intentional. Whether or not it's a good thing is, yeah. You certainly can't say that about grindcore. It's got plenty of the low end stuff there that you want.
I'm not overly familiar with Symphonies of Sickness. Like I say, I've got Necroticism and I've got Swan Song, and that's all I've got from Carcass. And I've probably listened to Swan Song more because I had that on CD first, which is easier to transfer digitally.
Yeah.
And that one's closer to thrash than it is to grindcore because
Swan Song certainly was. Yeah.
You can understand the lyrics. I mean, you couldn't say that for the first couple of Carcass albums, but yeah,
No.
by the time Swan Song come around, like Keep on Rotting in the Free World, you can understand every word they sing on that one.
Yeah. Well, from Necroticism onwards, including Necroticism, Jeff Walker was doing the vast majority of the vocals. Around this time, Bill Steer was doing most of them, so the lows were like that was Bill Steer, but you could hear there were occasional moments when Jeff Walker came in. They went from predominantly Bill Steer to basically sharing the vocal duties 50-50, and then Jeff Walker became like the main vocalist. So yeah, they did go through quite a transition, throughout their their tenure, which was relatively short, really. Their first album was atrocious. Their first album was Recomputer Faction, and basically all it was like their first 4 demos put on an LP, and it really shows because the recording quality in that is it's horrendous. So you may want to skip that one, but I really do recommend Symphonies of Sickness. Although if you thought this song was okay, well, see, this is the thing. I personally think this is probably the most extreme song on the album. The really fast blast beats right from the get go, and then a little bit later on. There's not a huge amount of that in the album, so most of it musically has much more in common with Necroticism than with the real old school grindcore. So aside from the vocals, it may still actually be one that you'd like.
I mean, I'm sure I've heard it because one of my mates was more into the extreme stuff than I was. you know, he was the person that this is a mate of mine called Steve. He was the person that tended to discover stuff. Like it was him that bought Live After Death that kind of got us all into it. We was all like, yeah, fucking hell, because he was attracted by the picture of Eddie on the front.
Yeah, I remember you saying about that.
Yeah, he was the first person to buy a thrash record. I think it was him that bought South of Heaven. The other stuff we just had on tape that we'd copied from people. You know, and throughout all the time I've known, I still know him now. I've known him since like fucking cubs, since we were like 8 or 9 years old. It was him. He was the first person to buy a Marilyn Manson record. He was the first person to buy a Korn record. He was quite happy to continually try something new. Go to a record shop and think, yeah, I'll give that a go. It didn't always work, you know. But for the most part, a lot of the stuff that he used to go and buy kind of influenced us because we hadn't heard it before. I don't know why he had more money than the rest of us. And I'm not even going to think about it because it's not my place to question that sort of thing. But he seemed to have the money to go and buy records, where I had the money to buy like maybe one or two. He'd walk out with a fucking armful of them. So, but yeah, and there was a lot of recordings and that going on, which is why I used to have a lot of tapes. And that was the same with Carcass. I'm pretty sure he was quite into Carcass. I know it was him that had the Possessed records and stuff like that. So I would have heard Symphonies of Sickness at some point, but
I'm pretty sure you would have done,
you know, you're going back like fucking 30, 34, 35 years. So.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's hardly going to be surprising if you don't remember it, but, yeah, I'd be very surprised if you hadn't heard it. I'm sure there'd be, like, you know, a couple of points when you're thinking, hang on, yeah, I have heard this. You know, and... as I touched on, I think it was in the thrash video. Yeah, this is a band where you really are glad that you can't understand what they're singing because their lyrics are fucking like truly vile.
Yeah, they do read like a Victorian medical summing up.
yeah, it's yeah. Yes, with the LP. And also with the Peel Sessions EP that I had, yeah, they both came with lyric sheets. Yeah, you don't want to read them.
You learn some nice new long words.
Oh yeah, you do, and you also learn what they fucking mean as well.
Yeah.
So there we go. Yes, Carcass, cadaveric incubator of endoparasites. Yeah. Great song. I love that song.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Say I preferred the middle section to either end of it. Well, the arse end weren't bad, but it was swapping between fast and the more you know, slower grindy stuff. So yeah, I'll never write it off anyways. But I wouldn't write any grindcore off because I do like it.
Yeah, yep, good stuff.
Fancy a bit of power metal?
Oh, go on then.
What a fucking tune.
Well, I am pretty sure I've not heard that before. But yeah, that was fucking great. I don't know who it was.
Oh, that
I'm
come out.
guessing.
Go on.
I was just going to say, I'm guessing they're German.
You'd have to be to
Purely
make that
because
sound.
I was going to say, as soon as you say power metal, I just think, right, German. Because I don't know what it is about the Germans, but they are the fucking masters of power metal.
Right, well, that was a song called Damn the Machine from 2003 from an album called No World Order. And it's the granddaddy of power metal. It's Gamma Ray, Kai Hansen.
There you go. So yeah, that's why it sounded so good. It had to have some sort of Halloween connection there, because let's face it, when I think power metal, I think Halloween. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was fucking great. I mean, it really was like archetypal power metal, and just hearing those words, archetypal power metal, means go and fucking listen to it, you know, go and get the album, you know, it's, yeah, big fan of that, yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, when it was just a top 10 video, that was one that was nailed on for me. I knew of Gamma Ray because I know they appeared on Top of the Pops once when he first started them up with one of their early albums, but I never really listened to them. And again, I saw a review of the album in Metal Hammer, and they seemed to wax lyrical about it. And I thought, well, you know, I'll give it a try. And I, you know, 2003 is before YouTube, so I had to go hunting around for it. Yeah, I downloaded the album and listened to it, and I was absolutely fucking blown away. It's a good album all the way through. But yeah, that was the standout one for me.
Yeah, I mean, if that's typical of the album, then yeah, that is definitely one I want to get. Yeah, properly impressed with that. I mean, the thing I find with a lot of metal albums that are released in the 21st century is the drum sounds. A lot of the time, I just find the drums don't sound right. But that certainly wasn't the case here. They were quite prominent, but I like that. And especially in power metal. I like having like really powerful, really sort of like, you know, heavy, crisp, you know, prominent drumming throughout. And that did not disappoint.
No, I mean, I'm assuming you even enjoyed the chorus with everyone joining in.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, it was a little bit chanty, but I mean, it still worked, you know. Yeah, yeah, I can't find fault in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Halloween hadn't have employed Michael Kiske, and they'd have carried on down the path of the Walls of Jericho with stuff like Ride the Sky, I think that's how Halloween would have ended up sounding, because obviously Kai Hansen wrote a lot of the guitar stuff with the other bloke, Vitus. But yeah, they went their separate ways, and we basically got like there's almost two versions of Halloween. And I don't want to do Gamma Ray a disservice by saying they're just a Halloween clone. But
no, they're much more than that.
Yeah, you can see where the sounds differ. Yeah, I've got pretty much everything by Gamma Ray. The first few albums, you had a guy, I think he was called Ralph Sheepers, I might be wrong, singing vocals, and he left, and Kai Hansen was like, well, I used to sing, I'll do it again. And I don't know, a lot of people don't like Kai Hansen's voice, but I think he's fucking great. He's not Michael Kiske by any stretch.
No, but I mean, you know, there are very, very few singers that, you know, compared to Kiske. I think his singing is more than just fine. You know, he's good. He's not Kiske. You know, he's not Robert Lowe. He's not Bruce Dickinson. But I think that's where it ends. You know, he's a fucking good singer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I didn't realise you'd never heard that one, so
No,
another pleasant surprise for you.
Yeah, great stuff. That, yeah, that's definitely one that I'll need to make a note of. Right, we're doing all right on part 4 at the moment. No major shocks. Well, apart from Psy, but it's not like you thought it was absolute shit. So yeah, I'm still counting that as a success.
Well, you weren't keen on propane, but even so, you still
that's true.
You said you did say it weren't shit, so that is a
success. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean it's not my thing, but yeah, it was shit. Right, so we go on to my number 35. I think I can safely say you are familiar with this band, but unfortunately the element of surprise does rather disappear kind of quickly with this one. Let's hear it.
Just before they went full on thrash, wasn't it? I mean, that was just fast metal. That was almost power metal. That was.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Metal Thrashing Mad, and that was the version from Armed and Dangerous. I finally got the title right. So that was the version with Joey Belladonna singing that, and anybody who says that thrash vocalists can't sing, listen to that. Oh, fucking hell. Not only is he reaching those notes, but he is holding them and holding them and holding them. I mean, how long is he able to fucking keep some of those notes going? That's fucking... that is power metal-esque, that singing.
Yeah. I mean, Fistful of Metal, the actual original, was that one with Neil Turbin singing?
Neil Turbin, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't. I don't know. There's quite a few bands. I'm not including Slayer or Metallica in this. there's quite a few thrash bands. Overkill were one. Their first album, Field of Fire, is not quite thrash. It's fast, heavy metal, but it's not quite thrash. And I've always thought that with Fistful of Metal. I'm not even sure I've heard the Joey Belladonna version of that before, because I was thinking, well, that sounds like Joey, but I'm sure Neil Turbin sang this one.
Yeah, well, so yeah, the original recording, on Fistful of Metal, it's okay. I can't really say more than that. I'm not the biggest Neil Turbin fan. I'm not a big fan of the album as a whole. But this new version, which I read somewhere that this was actually a live version. I suspect it's sort of live in the same way that the two songs on the B-side to Jump in the Fire were live, or Slayer's Live Undead was live, you know.
Or Live and Dangerous with Thin Lizzy.
It was Thin Lizzy, yeah. I mean, so, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into the whole, oh, yeah, this song was live. Yeah, really. But yeah, I just much prefer this version to the one on Fistful of Metal. It's interesting actually you say that about thrash bands and their debuts. I mean, obviously, Metallica and Slayer don't come under that. What about Megadeth's one?
Megadeth's one's a strange one. I like some of it, and some of the ideas are there for what was to come. But some of it I just don't like. Well, I wouldn't say I don't like it. I don't think it's that good. I mean, I know you can't stand the cover of These Boots, whereas I think that's fucking funny. It's just the it's just the fact that was probably one of the first cover versions I ever heard, and it's like Megadeth are doing Nancy Sinatra. I think that's why I've got kind of a soft spot for it. But yeah. Megadeth's debut, it wasn't a particularly strong debut.
No, I thought it was a dreadful album.
There's a couple of songs on there that showed, promise and maybe the portent of things to come.
Go on.
Go on. I was going to say, but just trying to think of some other thrash bands now. It's like, oh, fuck. Yeah, mind you saying that Testaments was quite fresh. I think it depends when they formed. If they're bands that formed in sort of like 81, 82, they've got quite a bit of club playing under their belt, and a lot of them would have been doing Judas Priest, Early Maiden, and Black Sabbath covers and stuff like that. So it would have been that, but slightly sped up.
Well, that's what I think. That's how I would describe Megadeth's first one. It's got like the speed, yes, but the production, the sound, it sounds like they're a fucking new wave of British heavy metal band to me. It doesn't sound remotely sort of thrashy. And that's part of the reason why I can't stand it, because you've got that sound but being played that fast, it don't work for me at all. I mean, I've said it often enough, I can't stand that album. There isn't a lot going for it for me. I do think These Boots is the worst song on there, but it's the worst of a pretty bad bunch,
Can't knock a bit of Anthrax though.
No,
I'll have to get hold of Armed and Dangerous because that was a really good version of Metal Thrashing Mad. I haven't got it, but I'm pretty sure I haven't even heard that one before.
Okay, that does surprise me. I would have expected you to have heard this one, so wasn't ready for that.
Well, there's every chance I might have done, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I suspect that's more likely the case. Yeah, I'm sure you have heard it before, you just don't remember hearing it.
Yeah, maybe. So, well, that's off and gone. I'm on to number 36.
Yep.
this could be Marmite time again, but we'll see how we get on, shall we? Yes, I know you're not a fan. So we'll get it out of the way now. That was, surprise, surprise, no fucking problem, from the 94 album Suicidal for Life from Suicidal Tendencies. I really like that whole album. I think it's their best album. And I really like that song. I don't care about the repetitive lyrics or the lyrics in general at all. I really like the guitar sound and the bass sound and the drum sound on that. That one is all about the music.
Yeah, fucking Suicidal Tendencies have changed over the years. When I think Suicidal Tendencies, I think of albums like Join the Army. Not that. Yeah, I by the time that song finished, I thought, if you say no fucking problem one more time, I will fucking give you a problem, you cunt. I hate Mike Muir, as you are very well aware.
I don't know why though. I don't know why you hate Mike Muir.
Well, there's two reasons. Firstly, his fucking stupid bandana. Oh, fuck off. Why the fucking hell are you wearing a bandana that covers half your face? So he really irritates me with that. And the second reason is, okay, his vocal style has changed. But, again, we're going back to join the army. I think Graham Norton would have sounded more fucking like aggressive than he does on that album. He's join the army. What? You're supposed to be singing a fucking like a hardcore, a thrash song, and you're sounding like that. No, and he sounded like that too many times. I remember I bought the 12-inch single of Trip to the Brain because I found it somewhere for 75p, so I was like, oh fuck it, for that I'll give it a try. No, he still sounded as fucking camp there, and I was like, oh fuck it, no, I can't take this cunt anymore. And so yeah, sounding like that and fucking, stupid bandana, he's just such an irritating shit cunt.
I don't mind Mike Muir. So all right then. So all that aside, as a standalone sound object, what did you actually think of that song?
It would be great if it was instrumental, but the lyrics were getting on my tits. I got really sick of hearing No Fucking Problem far too many times. It needed more variety, so I couldn't block out the lyrics because they're far too prominent in the mix. So yeah, the singing ruined it, but for very different reasons to how it used to. If it was instrumental, I would have thought it was great. So yeah, if you can find like a karaoke version of it, then we're laughing. But the singing ruined it, and I didn't even know it was Mike Muir.
All right, I thought you would have got straight away that was Suicidal Tendencies. I didn't know.
No.
I'd have held the name back a bit just to see what you said.
Oh, okay. No, I had no idea. As I say, every time I think of Suicidal Tendencies, I think Join the Army, and it don't sound fuck all like that.
Well, to be fair, Join the Army was the debut album, so...
Yeah, there is that, yeah.
I mean, there's a few songs by them. Well, there's a lot of songs by them I like. But I was in two minds whether to use this song or send us your money, which is their anti-evangelist church song, which is really ripping the piss out of that televised evangelist shit they have in America. Some of the lyrics in that are fucking funny, but I thought no, I don't want to do a comedy one because it is funny, but it is making a good point. And I thought, well, out of the two, I probably prefer No Fucking Problem because I really like the solos in that. And when you hear it clearly, the bass is pretty good. And I'm not sure if it's Robert Trujillo on this album either, because I know he played in Suicidal for a little bit.
Okay, I didn't know that he played for them. I couldn't tell you. When it comes to songs about television evangelists, though, I would go with Leper Messiah or Make Me Laugh, Anthrax. Those two are fucking great. I have a hard time imagining that there's a good Suicidal Tendencies song out there, so I'd choose either of them.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Yeah, well, I guess they had to, they had to come a point where, one song was played that one of us really didn't like, and it looks like that was it, which surprises me because I thought it was going to be my number 36 that was the first one. So, well, for this one, we're back in the realms of industrial metal, but this one sounds like no other industrial metal band there has ever been. Here we go.
Well, that would have been better as an instrumental as well. Musically, I thought that was really good. Now, going back to what you said about the Suicidal Tendencies track, and I'm not just doing it because you said that, but because I didn't understand what he was saying, I was only going on sound patterns. That sounded like the same 2 or 3 phrases repeated over and over again throughout the whole song. So, yeah, I think this, for me, suffers with the same problems that you had with the last track I played.
Yeah.
You know, like for like, pretty much.
Yeah. The difference is, I mean, he was singing different stuff, but yeah, his vocal style makes them nigh on indecipherable. Even by industrial metal standards, this lot are a very acquired taste. So that was OLD. They later renamed themselves to just Old. The song was called Disconnect Self, and it's from the Low Flux Tube album. And even though this lot are certainly industrial metal, they break just about every single definition of what makes industrial metal, you know. There's a lot of variation in every single one of their songs. It doesn't keep the same steady rhythm throughout. There's constant, like, you know, drum changes, timing changes, and everything else. So while, yeah, they are considered industrial metal by pretty much everybody, and yeah, I would say I'm one of them. Musically, well, actually no, they don't conform to being industrial at all. Yeah, they're a difficult one to categorise. And on the title track of this album, I can only begin to imagine what you would think of that, because on that one they've got John Zorn playing saxophone as well.
Yeah. Playing is a very fucking broad term of the word. Musically, I thought that was pretty sound. I quite like that. Yeah, the repetitive lyric sounds could do without, and I'm not that over keen on lyrics that are that indecipherable. But yeah, the rest of it was pretty good. I did like the music.
Well, the band, when they first started, they were like a comedy, sort of hardcore DRI-esque band. And OLD stood for Old Lady Drivers. And the guy that founded the band and stayed with them throughout is Jimmy Blodkin. And I seem to remember reading somewhere that he was briefly in Nirvana. What a fucking change to go from Nirvana to this.
It depends when he was in Nirvana, because I do like Nirvana, but I like the Nirvana before they come famous. Their first album, Bleach, is a fucking good album. So if he was on that one, that's fine.
I think it may have even been like earlier than that. I'm not sure if they had even been signed or anything at that point. I think they were still just, like, you know, doing underground shows in, presumably in Seattle. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how true that is, but yeah, that's what I read anyway. That he was with them for a while. I don't know what the fuck he did with them, but
Made
you know,
by the sound of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, you know, maybe he was the cleaner or something, but yeah.
Yeah, because what we just listened to was about as far away from Nirvana as you can get.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, it was. I can see why they'd be called industrial. It's just, just take them vocals out of it, and it'd be a much better song as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's you know, as I say, even by industrial standards, it is a very acquired taste. This is probably, I'd say it's the second most musical song they did. Some of theirs are quite difficult listening, actually, and this is me saying that. But this was the first album they did in this style. They did at least 3 more after that, all in this same style. So I mean, if you don't rate this song, you don't want to waste your time checking any of them out. None of them are going to be, none of them are really going to appeal. They didn't change a great deal throughout the whole time, so they did do one song that it was more sort of ambient electronic for a lot of it. But the song goes on for about 10 minutes, and I thought, well, if I'm going to put these in, 10 minutes of this may be a bit much for anyone. So so I went with this. I mean, I do really like this song, but if this is not to your taste, then you steer clear of everything else they did.
That's a fair, decent warning. Thank you very much. Well, if you don't like my next song, I'm going to reach into the screen and Will Smith you. You've been warned.
Okay.
I think it's a safe bet. This one's probably going to go down all right. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, well, Yeah, unless you had chosen a particular song that was never going to be appearing in this video or any other fucking, top 40 whatever videos, yeah, you were never going to hear me say, oh no, it's shit.
I thought about that song for a laugh, I must admit. Yeah, that was Sacred Reich with One Nation off of the Surf Nicaragua EP from '88. All good tracks on that, including their cover of War Pigs you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But that song has always stuck out to me, and fuck Gregor's drumming in. Now that song fades out too quick because he's still going like the fucking
Yeah.
flappers.
Yeah, I always think that when I hear that, he's starting to go in some fucking unreal fillings, and then the song's fading out. It's like, don't fade out, I want to hear more of it,
Yeah, there's a few songs in my music collection that do that where I want more. There's the last song on the first Danzig album finishes far too quickly. There's some great stuff going on there. Marillion's Fugazi song, as soon as the fucking the marching band drums start coming, it's a really good sound. It fades out, and the same with One Nation. All this great drumming going on, they fade. It's like, stop it.
Yeah. I know it's it's fucking crime. I mean, I said it, several times in the thrash video, but it is worth saying again. Greg Hall's drumming is just fucking phenomenal. In that video, I said that it's between him, Glenn Evans, and Dave Lombardo. Thinking about it, no, I would put Greg Hall at number one. I think he is the best thrash drummer. He's just fucking. He's just fantastic.
What's he doing now? That's the thing. He was only on a couple of albums, wasn't he?
Yeah, because I know Sacred Reich reformed, but I don't know if he is among them. I mean, obviously Phil Rind is there, but yeah, I don't know if Greg Hall is.
Yeah, I don't either, and my phone's in a cupboard somewhere on charge, so I'm not going to start opening windows up on here because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you got a bit of bit of internet history you want to keep hidden away, eh?
No, nothing like that. It's just I've got all our tunes open in Windows, and I've got it all set out on the screen nice, so I know whose is what and where I am with it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll give you that one then. So, I can be generous.
You can be generous, and yeah, for that kind of carry on, I've got a fucking Chromebook.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. One Nation is it's a fucking great song. It's not my favourite Sacred Reich song. That's always going to be State of Emergency, but yeah, it's up there. Absolutely, it's a great one.
I find this an overlooked one as well.
It is, yeah, definitely. Sacred Reich, I don't think get anything like the recognition they deserve. But when people mention them, they basically say, well, a lot of times it's basically Surf Nicaragua. That's about it. There's a lot of Sacred Reich songs that don't get the attention they deserve. Yeah, they are criminally overlooked. I mean, this lot are fucking great. This lot are absolutely one of the greatest thrash bands to have ever existed. And yet there are so many people that just are either unaware of them or just don't give them the time of day. Oh, no. Anyone watching this, I mean, if you are not familiar with Sacred Reich, then fucking check them out. They are easily one of the greatest thrash bands there's ever been.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, yeah, if you got the big four, the next four down should probably be Testament, Sacred Reich, Overkill, maybe someone else.
Nuclear Assault.
Possibly Nuclear Assault.
I would say nailed on, yeah, Nuclear Assault. Not sure about Overkill. I would think more Exodus than Overkill, perhaps. I think you.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of bands that I like rather than.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm going on the assumption that yeah, it's bands you like, but yeah, if we're talking like, you know, their popularity, or especially when thrash was at its peak, then yeah, I would say Testament, Nuclear Assault, Sacred Reich, and yeah, I don't know about a fourth.
See, Overkill, they slot right in there.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's not going to
Right,
be.
yeah, well,
it's not going to be Zentrix, is it? I mean, they weren't big enough, and they were British. I mean,
No,
the
yeah,
big
exactly,
bands
yeah.
were American, weren't they?
Yeah, that's it. Eccentrics being a British band, that kind of rules them out. The Americans didn't seem to be all that keen on, you know, discovering British bands, which, you know, more fool them, you know. But
I would say the song for Whose Advantage by Zentrix only just missed out on my top 40 because I do like that album.
I
There's
wasn't
some
a
good stuff
huge.
on it.
I mean, you know, Eccentrics did do some okay stuff. I wasn't their biggest fan. I mean, they didn't even appear on my thrash list. Well, they didn't appear on yours either. So
No.
you know. But yeah, I wasn't mad on them. You know, yeah, occasionally you would hear a good one by them, but yeah, I wasn't all that struck on them.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, that's another thrash entry on. I've had a few of them today on this one.
Yeah. I've not had any. I must admit, thrash is not very well represented in my 40. And yeah, criminally, yeah, there's no Sacred Reich on mine. That ain't good enough. I should have had one of them on there.
You should have had State of Emergency on there. The way you wax lyrical about it on the thrash video.
Yeah, it is such a great song. Yeah, it really did deserve a spot here. So yeah, my fuck up there. I'll absolutely hold my hands up to that.
Mind you, when you've only got 40, and then you think about it, just 10 albums can be 100 songs. It's not the easiest list to make.
No, there's always going to be, you know, a whole slew of bands that, you know, you really rate, and they're going to get left out. Even when we've extended this to 40, it's still going to happen.
Yeah, we better not do a an honourable mentions video because that can go on
fuck
for a week.
yeah, that'll be another 16 hours of stuff I've got to edit that one. Right, well, let's move on then to my number 37, and it seems like an age ago when we were doing a video one, and we were saying that there were 3 bands that absolutely have to be in every list. I've had 2 of them. Here comes the third.
Can't go wrong with that.
So yeah, Black Sabbath, Symphony of the Universe. One of those songs where you listen to, if you've no idea, what is about to be played, and within the first 2 seconds, okay, yeah, that's Sabbath. I mean, that is an archetypal Sabbath sound there, and I love that opening riff. Very simple, but it's fucking good.
Yeah, and the template for thrash metal, really. I mean, I've said it before. Thrash metal is the riffs of Black Sabbath, the distortion of Motorhead, and the speed of Judas Priest is the best way I ever see it written down. And throw in a bit of punk, and you're laughing.
Yeah. And then with this song, it's like, there's 2 minutes to go, and it sounds like, okay, Black Sabbath have left the building. We've got Led Zeppelin coming in for to finish this off. It really does sound like Zeppelin-esque, that ending.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it a few times in all of these videos. The drumming, Bill Ward is an absolute fucking monster in this.
Yeah, definitely.
I swear he had 2 extra arms when he recorded this one.
It would explain a lot, wouldn't it? Yeah. I can't fault this song at all. And yet I was torn between two. It was always going to be between these two. It was either this or Electric Funeral. And, obviously in the end I went for this, but let's face it, whichever one I'd chosen, it was going to be fucking great, Yeah.
The only downside to Symptom of the Universe is it's from the album Sabotage. And that is one of the worst album covers in the history of music.
Fucking hell, is it? Yeah, God, yeah. That wasn't a highlight of... I mean, let's face it, metal is known for its great album covers. You don't want to use that one as an example.
No. Not unless you like skin-tight red trousers and platform boots. Oh, my God.
Yeah, yes.
It's a clever picture with them, with the mirror, and it's their reflections are looking out in the same direction they are. It's a clever shot for the time it was made, but by God, what the fuck were they wearing?
Yeah. It's, you look at it and you think, cool, was this done in the 70s by any chance? Yeah.
It's not a good look. But yeah, that is a great song. And I mean, I've heard that covered by a few bands, and they don't bother to change the riff. You don't need to. You want to cover that song, you just leave it as it is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that does not require any sort of like fixing or changing or anything, don't do it?
No, not at all.
Right, there we go. That's my song number 37. Black Sabbath had to show up at some point, and quite late on in the run, but they finally appeared.
Right, so song number 38. Once again, I have no idea what you think of this lot. I'm pretty sure you'll recognise it. I guess we'll find out in a few minutes, won't we?
gesagt. Du bist der Tod aus Scheide, treuer sein für alle Tage. Nein! Nein! Du bist der Tod aus Scheide, treuer sein für alle Tage. Nein! Nein! Du hast mich. Du hast mich. Du hast mich. Du hast mich. Du hast mich gefragt. Du hast mich gefragt. Du hast mich gefragt und ich hab nichts gesagt. Du bist der Tod aus Scheide, treuer sein für alle Tage. Nein! Nein! Du bist zum Tod der Scheide, sie lieben auch in schlechten Tagen. Nein! Nein! Du bist der Tod aus Scheide, treuer sein. Nein! Nein!
Well, I mean, this always results with the age-old debate coming along of are these guys metal?
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are. They are metal. They play at metal festivals. People I know that are metalheads really like them. As far as I'm concerned, Rammstein are metal.
So I've always lumped Rammstein in the same sort of category as bands like Leibach, and not just because they both sing in German. I'm sort of on the fence. I can hear enough to make me think, yeah, these are metal. But I also hear a lot that makes me think, no, they're not. But I wouldn't have the remotest fucking clue what I would categorise them as if they were not metal.
I mean, the guitar riff in that is metal. There's no two ways about it. I know there's a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, they're part metal, part industrial, and part fire. If you've ever seen one of their live shows.
Yes, yeah, yeah. They do like their pyrotechnics, don't they? Yeah, well, anyway, I mean, we're not here to, debate whether Rammstein are metal or not. I'll go along with it. I'm not 100% convinced, but yeah, I will go along that, they are metal. Rammstein are one of those bands that I've never really paid. Fucking hell! I've never really paid a huge amount of attention to. Obviously, I know this one. Fucking everyone knows this song, don't they?
Yeah, the album, or I should say, yeah, it is Rammstein. That's Du Hast from 1997 Sehnsucht album. That album, as a bonus track, got that in English. It doesn't work in English. If you're going to listen to Rammstein, even though they've done an English version of that and Engel, yeah, you seriously need to listen to it in German.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Listen to the songs in the original language that they are written in. Even when I'm listening to Kraftwerk, I will only listen to them in the original German. I don't even bother listening to the English versions of their stuff. So yeah, I mean, I would certainly much rather listen to this than the English one. It's one of those songs that I think is okay, but I've never really understood the sort of big following that Rammstein and this song has. I can give or take it. I don't hate it. I don't think it's shit or anything like that, but it's never been one that's really sort of like grabbed me.
I mean, I find this is quite a rousing song. I mean, it's I mean that beat with the guitars. I mean, it makes you want to get up and march across an Eastern Bloc country.
I mean, are Rammstein German? They're not Austrian. They are German.
I'm pretty sure they're German.
So when they were singing there, the pronunciations of some of it, to me, it sounded more Austrian than German. But
well,
I don't know anything about them.
I'm going to grab my phone out of there.
All right, okay.
Well, I'm gonna find out where Rammstein are from, because that's a really good question, actually. But yeah, they're just one of them bands that I don't know. I've just liked them for ages. I've only got a couple of their albums, and I'm surprised their new video hasn't got banned off YouTube, because it's got a load of backwards filmography in it, and even though it's not real, they're obviously prosthetic models. It's got babies going back into fannies on it, and you can quite clearly see flappage. Let's put it that way. I was surprised when I watched it that it was actually on YouTube.
I suspect YouTube don't know anything about it yet, but yeah, once they find out, I fuck it out, and yeah, off it goes. Yeah, I don't have anything by this band. Yeah, I just. It's not that it's not that I don't like them. I've just never really paid them any attention. And what I heard there, I mean, yeah, it's a song everyone knows. It's okay, but it doesn't grab me, not at all.
Well, I'm sure I can try you out with something else. I know you're always open to the odd link. Right, apparently, their origin is Berlin, so. If I'd have introduced this as Ich bin ein Berliner, that would have been fine. And apparently their genres are Neue Deutsche Hart, industrial metal, gothic metal, and hard rock is what their genres seem to be done as. So it's got metal in it twice out of them four. That works for me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll go with it. We'll go with the majority, but yeah, it's not my thing.
I wouldn't have thought it'd have been my thing, really, but I don't know if it's because they sing in German that it just makes it something different to listen to. Because I did German at school, so I speak a bit of German, so it is quite interesting to try and work out what they're going on about, because I sort of know enough to get by. So,
well, I mean, yeah, that type of music, the German language does suit it really well. So yeah, the fact that they are singing in their native language, yeah, absolutely works. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, I mentioned Live-Arc earlier. I mean, how would you rate them?
I've never listened to them, mate, so I don't know.
Oh, okay, well, I can send you a couple of links of theirs. So. You're sending me some Rammstein. I'll send you some of Live-Arc. We'll see how you rate. Live-Arc aren't German. They're from Slovenia. But yeah, they do sing in German. At least I'm 90% certain they sing in German.
Don't you be giving me no false advertising now, Pan. Yeah, so that's my number 38. Du hast by Rammstein.
Okay. Right, so my number 38, a lot of people call these guys black metal. I really don't think they are. They are certainly not black metal anymore. if I was to describe them, I would say they are a rather strange hybrid of black metal and grindcore. If you can imagine such a thing. Well, you don't have to imagine it because you're about to hear some of it. Here we go. There we
go. Musically, that was quite good. Lyrically, what I got from that, because I didn't understand any of the lyrics, was it seemed to be a hungover ogre whose goblin wife was then shouting and moaning at him. He proceeded to be sick, and then she shouted at him some more, and it just seemed to be an argument. But the music on that was fucking good. I really like the music, but yeah, that'd have to be another make it instrumental, find a karaoke version, as you said earlier. You know, it's but the music was fucking spot on. I could listen to that forever.
Or better yet, listen to some of their later stuff, because this is from their debut album. So that was Impaled Nazarene, and the song was called Condemned to Hell. Yeah, it's from their debut album, Tolkorn Norse. I assume Norse is Finnish for 6. Yeah, when they released this album, the lyrical content was much more black metal sort of like orientated. It certainly is not the case anymore. These days, they tend to do songs that are more about like perverted sex. I
I was going to
I
say, I think maybe my story's wider than Mark, but ogres, goblins, and vomit maybe I was spot on after all.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to write a song about exactly that, you know. Yeah, I was going to choose the song I Eat Pussy for Breakfast, but it's very short, so I thought, no, I'll go with one that has a little bit more substance to it. I mean, you know, so that is much more typical of the stuff they do these days. You know, I mean, they brought out an EP called Motor Penis. And I think it was in part one, I mentioned a band I got 2 albums by called The Rocking Dildos. Yeah, that's this lot under a different name, and every single song is you know about perverted sex and that. Yeah, they certainly changed their you know subject matter and the direction of that.
Well, at least it sounds like they've gone for the side of maturity.
Well, I mean, they've gone more for the sort of like comedy side of it. You know, they don't take themselves remotely seriously, and even when they were doing this album, they didn't take themselves at all seriously. You know, it's basically them sort of like fucking about and you know, and recording decent music at the same time. You know,
and the music was decent.
yeah, and to be honest, like the music style and the music content hasn't changed at all. So if you like this, then the chances are you will like a lot of their stuff. With the change of like vocals, because yeah, they've changed a bit as well. They don't always sing in Finnish either, so you know there are occasionally songs that are sung in English. All of their songs on the 2 Rocking Dildos albums are all sung in English. So there could be stuff there that, you know, you may not think, you know, oh, yeah, give me a karaoke version or something, you know. I think there's a good chance of it, but yeah, they're not a band to take seriously. I've been a huge fan of Impaled Nazarene from the day I first heard their first demo, and I knew it was just going to be a matter of time before they brought out an album, and yeah, I was not disappointed. I've been a big fan of them from day one.
Yeah, I can't argue on the quality of the actual music, you know, and because as you said, it's kind of a crossover between grindcore and black metal. It's like black metal with bollocks, which is what's missing from most of the black metal that I've heard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that it very much is that. Yeah, they've got that lower end, that deeper tone. They've got the bass, they've got the bollocks, you know, like you say. So I think this is much more likely to appeal to you than, you know, the typical you know, Scandinavian and Norse black metal will.
Yeah, you're probably right then. It's going to be a lot of link sharing after all this, isn't there?
Yeah, I can well believe it. So yeah, there we go. My number 38, Impaled Nazarene. This is another band that was always going to appear on my list. It was a case of just right, what song am I going to choose? I had plenty to choose from, and I went with an old favourite. Every Impaled Nazarene fan knows this song fucking backwards. They probably played it backwards as well.
While burning down a church.
Yeah. Impaled Nazarene were never into all that shit. They wanted nothing to do with all this fucking Norwegian inner circle and all that bollocks. No, they treated it with the contempt it deserved, you know.
Yeah, they just burnt a couple of dildos and they was happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was much more their thing. Yeah.
Well, that brings us to my penultimate song then.
It does.
And yeah, my favourite band is Maiden, but you're well aware of what my favourite genre is, and this is one of the best examples of said genre.
Yeah, great one. One It's a fucking song that makes Metal Militia sound like doom metal, that thing.
I mean, you know, we were saying about thrash bands' debut albums earlier on, and now they're not always that thrashy. Annihilator do not come into that category.
Yeah, no, not at all.
That was Human Insecticide from the 1989 album Alice in Hell.
Yeah.
What a fucking debut album that was. And I mean, I was lucky enough to see Annihilator supporting Judas Priest on the when Priest were doing their Painkiller tour in, I think it was 91. And they didn't have Randy Rampage singing, and I think they moved on to Coburn Farr because Annihilator is another revolving door band. It's Jeff Waters and whoever. And now Jeff Waters has started singing. I'm not sure he needs anybody else, but yeah, I fucking love that track. That is one of the best ever thrash metal songs.
Yeah, I mean, fucking hell. If you met somebody who had never heard thrash metal at all, you'd be so tempted to say, right, we're going to fucking drop you right into the deep end and play them this. You know, it's like, yeah, if you like this, then thrash is absolutely your thing. Yeah, yeah, that song is fucking relentless, and that's what you want from thrash metal. You don't want any let up. You know, that's why I really like Metal Militia. You know, because it's the same thing. And Fight Fire with Fire when it starts, and we can go through countless fucking Metallica songs that do it.
Yeah.
And I always go back to them because, well, I mean, they were the band that started it. But fucking hell, this lot really did build on what, you know, like the foundations that Metallica laid, and this lot came along and built a fucking Empire State Building of thrash on top of it with this thing. This is a fucking great album, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the other thing with that song, I love the big long, just fucking chords in between the fast bits, be like for the chorus and that. It just all works. But yeah, and they're another prolific band. I mean, it really is just Jeff Waters and whoever he's got playing with him at the time. I think they've been stable for a few years now. But this album come out in '89, and they've had an album out every year or two ever since.
Yeah, that's quite a release schedule. I mean, you find it hard to imagine that a band could, you know, keep up releasing that much material, and you sort of think, well, if they were doing that, it's a bit like the argument that Solitude Eternus put forward. You know, they only brought out like one album every 3 or 4 years because they wanted to make sure that, you know, only like the best stuff actually got recorded and put on an album. And I mean, you listen to the stuff that Annihilator bring out.
Yeah.
And you think,
just trying to see how many albums they've released. Go on, I am listening.
You'd think, you know, well, if it sounds like, because the amount of like great stuff they do, I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. And you think, well, fucking hell, I mean, if they were like releasing just any old guff, as a lot of people, you know, do if they're releasing like an album every year or so, I mean, this lot would be releasing a new album every fucking 6 weeks or something, you know. They seem to churn it out like a factory, but that doesn't mean they're just doing it by the numbers. You know, they do play great stuff pretty much all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, some of the albums dip in quality. Well, according to what I've just read, Annihilator were formed in 1984. Their first album was 1989, and that was the first of 17 studio albums so far.
Yeah, fucking hell.
And I know they've just recently, they did an album called Metal, which was kind of a celebration of metal a few years back. And they've recently recorded that, and I think they've managed to drag in Dave Lombardo to play drums on like the re-recording. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, that I want to hear. Annihilator with Dave Lombardo on the drums. Yeah, that I want to hear.
The same Dave Lombardo that's not long joined Testament, so he's getting about a bit.
Yeah, mind you, I mean, if you're not going to be drumming for Slayer anymore, then Testament and Annihilator, yeah, that's two pretty good substitutes. You know, I'd take it.
Yeah, you and me both.
So great choice. Annihilator. They deserve more recognition than they get, but I mean they have. They deserve. They've got an army of loyal fans and plenty of them. That didn't sound good. Whatever the fucking hell was going on out there.
So maybe when we were talking about our secondary big four, well, the third four should probably be then Overkill, Annihilator, and a couple of others.
I would put Annihilator up into the secondary one. So Testament, Nuclear Assault, Sacred Reich, Annihilator. That's a fucking good four.
That is a good four. I don't know. For me personally, I think I would probably drop Nuclear Assault out there and put Overkill in. But if it was based on popularity, then yeah, you're right.
I think that's definitely your personal preference.
It is.
Going in there.
I prefer Overkill to Nuclear Assault, and that's by no means saying Nuclear Assault aren't any good.
Oh no. No, I didn't think for 1 second you would be sitting there saying, "No, Nuclear Assault is shit." Fuck off.
Certainly better than fucking Alsatian's Hammer that you played in the other video, whatever they were fucking called.
Monster's Hammer. Fine band.
For people with no ears. Anyway, your penultimate song.
Right. Yes, moving swiftly on. My song number 39. So this is the second band that I had on my list that I can't stand, but they did do one fucking great song. That is what we're about to hear. This lot are a sort of death metal and grindcore hybrid. They were classed as splattercore, which I think that was also a term that was used to describe early Carcass as well. And it's not the only thing that they have in common with Carcass. Let's hear it.
Let's go!
that was all right. I've definitely heard that before. I've got a horrible feeling that this is Cannibal Corpse, isn't it?
Oh no, fuck you, no. No. There's no way they would be appearing on my list.
Oh, it's just because you said it was a band you hated, but you like one song. I was just trying to think who could be considered splattercore, who you would really hate, and I thought, well, he really fucking hates Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, I fucking detest Cannibal Corpse. No, they've never come close to doing a song I like.
That was good. I enjoyed that. Who was it then?
So that was Pungent Stench, and the song was called Happy Rebirthday, which is on the Bean Court Buttering album. And I seem to recall this is an album that I think you've got, but I don't think you've listened to it much. You may not have even listened to it at all, but I'm fairly sure I've seen it in, like, you know, when you had all your album covers in, you had a player there. So yeah, I think it is one that you have.
I'm not sure about that. Let's have a. I can look at that in a separate window. Right, what was the band called again? Pungent Stench.
Pungent Stench, yeah.
I don't think I've got a record by them. If I have, I don't know where it came from. Yeah, no, I haven't.
Okay, alright. Yeah, I thought I saw it there, but no, clearly not. But the other thing that these guys have in common with Carcass, especially with this song, is you are really glad you cannot understand what the fuck he's singing about. As yeah, this one is quite stomach turning.
Mind you, saying that, there was a lot of that was quite understandable. Maybe it's because I've spent 16 hours this weekend listening to death metal, but you know, I find death metal and grindcore a lot easier to understand than black metal, even black metal that's sung in English, because well, I use the word "sung" very, very fucking loosely.
Yeah, very loosely, yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought that was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I say I think that song is fucking great. It's just a shame that it's well, certainly as far as I'm concerned, it's a one-off. Everything else they've done, yeah, I'm indifferent to at best. You know, and then they come along and do this. Oh, fuck you! Why couldn't they sound like this all the time? But no.
No, you do get bands like that, don't you? That do well, like, you know, you've already had one in this lineup. You know, you'll get bands that'll do one great song, and you'll go and buy an album, and the rest of it's a load of shit.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that is extremely true. So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of grindcore, then yeah, by all means, check them out. I'm not going to say, you know, don't waste your time, because as they've shown here, they are fucking capable of coming up with great songs. But yeah, everything else they've done, for me anyway, misses the mark. So if you're a fan of this, then, you know, give the other ones, you know, give the rest of the album a shot, and you may be surprised.
Yeah. Well, sound advice for most of what we've played, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hopefully there will be some people out there who do that, you know, hear something new amongst all of you know, the 79 songs that they're going to be hearing, and hear something that they think, you know, is good enough that yeah, go and check out the rest of the album, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough.
Well, someone's bought a Dark Throne album on the strength of the video we made. So
yeah, that's very true. So you know, yeah, I consider that a bit of a result. I mean, it's a fucking great album. So yeah, let's get some you know, get some more people familiar with, well, not just that album, but yeah, the fucking multitude of albums we've got in these 4 vids,
and the multitude of genres as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if you've only got a passing interest in metal, surely there is something here that is going to appeal to someone, you know.
Well, we've played everything from glam metal to the most raucous fucking black metal you can get. I mean, that is literally covering the entire spectrum of it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there aren't many metal subgenres that we haven't at least partially covered. So, yeah, there really is a bit of everything for everyone here.
Well, you'll be very pleased to know that I'm down to my last track, and you haven't had to suffer any pirate metal. So, say thank you.
I'll wait until the final track has been played before I do.
It's not pirate metal. I can promise you that 100%.
Okay, right, yeah. Yeah, cheers. Yeah.
Well, I suppose I better get on to my last track then. Now, you remember when we was talking about this, and I said there's one band that's going to appear twice in my list because of different singers.
Yeah.
Right, well, this is that band now. As much as he's someone that can be laughed at times, I don't think I could make a metal list without this bloke singing a song. Much like Symptom of the Universe, that song has got absolutely no right to be 47 years old.
No, no. I do like Hole in the Sky. It's yeah, great fucking song that.
It's only fitting now if we're doing a top 40 metal that the band that, as far as I'm concerned, invented it appear 3 times.
Yeah, technically you could say 5 times because I had 2 Sabbath covers, and and as far as I'm concerned, there's no technically about it. Sabbath invented metal. End of. You know.
Well, I can go along with that.
Yeah. It's. I know a lot of people say it was between Sabbath, Deep Purple, and Led Zeppelin, but to me, Deep Purple are hard rock. Led Zeppelin are sort of like bluesy rock. I certainly wouldn't describe Zeppelin as metal, and yeah. Sabbath are, you know.
Sabbath are. I mean, the only other band that comes close to it that started around the same time was Blue Cheer in the States with their very heavy version of Summertime Blues. But yeah, no, as far as I'm concerned, it's Sabbath. Tony Iommi picked up a guitar, cut the top of his finger off, made a cover out of a bottle top. Heavy metal was born. End.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that was the start of it, and yeah, I mean, okay, I sort of set myself the target of having 40 different bands as well as 40 different songs, but if you're gonna have 2 songs by the same band, especially as as they're different singers, then yeah. Sabbath has to be the one.
Yeah, they're very different sounding incarnations. Even though a lot of the players are the same, they kind of reinvent themselves for the Ronnie James Dio era. It's just Sabbath, isn't it? They literally the blueprint for every genre of metal is in Sabbath. Even the stuff we would consider lesser metal. The later albums with Ozzy, even that sort of stuff is in there somewhere, so you can find it all in Sabbath. And that was from Sabotage, the same as Symptom of the Universe from 1975. We don't need to talk about the album cover again.
No. All I will say is an album as fucking good as that absolutely deserved a better cover than it got.
I actually found it hard to pick an Aussie song, but when it comes down to it, that probably is my favourite. And I mean, if you can be bothered, anyone, to rewind it and listen to a bit of that again, just listen to the bass thumping along in the background. Geezer Butler was something else when he was properly on a fast song.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you've spoken about the Ronnie James Dio era and obviously the Aussie era. What about Such As It Was, the Gillan era? I mean, the one album that he did.
Well, it was a rushed album. I mean, Ian Gillan is a fantastic singer. I mean, I don't know whether you like it or not, but just listen to "Child in Time" by Deep Purple. I mean, the bloke can fucking belt the notes out.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he was the right fit for Sabbath.
He was still a much better fit than fucking Tony Martin was, though.
Well, yeah. Was it Tony Martin that sang on the Headless Cross? Because that album's not too bad. The other two, Tear and Tear, fucking awful.
Well, Headless Cross I thought was fucking horrendous. Tear was, it's... I don't know if I could say it's worse than Headless Cross, but I certainly can't say it's better either. I mean, okay, yeah, they're both as bad as each other. I didn't realise that he had done a third album. I only know those two, but yeah, those two, that's an era of Sabbath no one wants to remember, and for good fucking reason.
I actually think he done 4, you know, because he done whatever the other one was, Tear and the Headless Cross, and then they got Ronnie James Dio back for Dehumanizer, which weren't a bad album at all, actually. And then Ronnie James Dio fucked off again, and I'm sure Tony Martin came back for one album, and then they did the reunion stuff with Ozzy in '97, and then they were trying to get a new album together, and it took them from like 2005 to 2013 before the album 13 came out. I know it might have been a bit earlier than that, but they did that album, and the last album Sabbath did was everyone but Bill Wald, because he couldn't agree on a contract with them, and it sounds like someone just removed everything from between Never Say Die and the last album they've done with Tony Martin, and then that one should naturally come next, because it sounds like early Sabbath again. It's a really good album, 13.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that one. I can't remember if it was that or there was some other one. I know it was some like really big album that everyone was waiting for, and then when it finally appeared, it got absolutely fucking panned by all the critics. And I'm not thinking of Guns N' Roses either. So, yeah, I don't know which one it was. Clearly, it's not that one though. So maybe I should give it a go.
Oh, 13's great. And you must have heard the song "God Is Dead." I mean, that one was played quite a lot on a lot of things.
I probably have. I just don't remember how it goes.
I'm not going to sing it.
So, no. I'll check it out after this. Well, actually, no, I'll check it out later today. But
well, we got one left.
Yeah, we have my final song, number 40. This is a band you know. I don't know if you know this song, though. So, well, let's find out.
The ice now waits. shaking of the dead, they rock to the earth. The promises they miss, they never give. Cry, chronic and breathe. Cry, chronic and become. Search for immortality. My life will begin.
Yeah, that was fucking great. I'll put 10 pence each way as a bet on that being Cerebral Fix.
Yeah, that was Cerebral Fix. So the song was Cult de Mort, and that was from the Tower of Spite album.
I know that very well because I've got that album.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you had that one. I know you've got Bastards, which was the album that came after that.
Actually, I have only got Bastards now. I had Tower of Spite on tape, so I need to get hold of that one again. That's fucking great, that is.
Yeah, it's definitely worth getting. Cerebral Fix are one of those bands that when they get it right, they really get it right. But they don't always, and it's because of the singer. His vocal style is very divisive, and in some songs he sounds great, and this is obviously one of them. The title track to Tower of Spite is another. Title track to Bastards is another. But when he gets it wrong, he can sound fucking awful. The first song on Tower of Spite is Unity for Who, and in that, the only lyrics is him repeating the title over and over again, and he sounds fucking awful in it. Yeah, they are a bit inconsistent, but when songs like this, yeah, when they get it right, it's fucking great.
I think my favourite song by this lot is Middle Third Monoculture one. Off of, I think it's the last track on Bastards.
I mean, I certainly know it. I've heard it plenty of times. I can't place it at the moment. But,
It's a slow doomy chugger of a song. Where he,
yeah,
goes, he says you don't understand quite a lot in that song.
I mean, yeah, Cerebral Fix were great at the slow sort of like doomy stuff. They did a fair few songs like that. It's one of the reasons why I have quite a difficulty in trying to. You know, how would you categorise this band? Because I know you mentioned Bastards as a one of the possibilities for the thrash video, and I thought, no, I certainly wouldn't have classed them as thrash. And I thought, well, I don't know what the fuck I would class them as.
I don't know. They're kind of doom grind thrash death metal, I suppose. There's a bit of everything in there, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it. They do sort of like, you know, try their hand at every genre there is, and a lot of the time they do. They do a great job of it. It's every now and then they come along with a song that is a bit of a stinker, but yeah, I suppose there are plenty of bands that do that. I mean, even Queen did that, so you know you can forgive them the odd one or two, can't you?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I don't think their bad ones are that bad. I mean, I quite like Cerebral Fix. I don't know how many albums they did. I only ever had the two.
Yeah, I only had those two. I think they may have done a third album, but I've never heard it, so might have to do something about that. I'll have to check. I'll take a look, see what I can find on the Cerebral Fix front there. But yeah, that is how my list concludes.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
No.
I'm quite sad we've finished, actually. I've really enjoyed this non-constraint sort of like do what you want thing.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a great series of videos. I'm not going to lie, I'm not looking forward to editing 16 hours of video footage, but I will keep them in the 4 separate parts. That is for sure. So I'll try and get them all done sort of like, you know, at the same time, but I'll release them, you know, maybe like one a week or something. You know, I'll come up with something anyway.
If I've left a comment underneath this, it means you have edited it and it has come out. So.
Okay, right, there we go. But there we are. Only one duplicate, and it was a duplicate I never saw coming. So I was pretty sure that there would be one, but yeah, I was certain it was going to be Slayer. Never in a million years would have thought it was going to be Solitude Eternus.
Well, I should own up. Really, there should have been 2 duplicates, but I decided to change my Hangar 18 on my list. I'll be honest, you know, I did change one because, well, I had 2 choices for Megadeth, and I picked the wrong one because he picked it. So I just thought, fuck it, I'll put the one that was on the list originally on. So we got Set the World Afire as well. So I'll be honest, there was actually 2 duplicates, which that's not bad going. You know, when we've both picked 40 songs each.
No, not at all. I think for this one we will play out with a song, and yeah, seeing as Solitude Eternus were duplicated, I'll choose another one of theirs. Let's face it, there's plenty of great songs of theirs to choose from. I'll find something from a different album. So.
You'll be hard pressed to find a shit one, mate. I must say.
Oh, it just doesn't happen, you know. I think I've got a fair idea of which song I'll go with.
Well, we'll find out.
Needless to say, needless to say, it's a fucking great one. But there we are. So yes, our top 40s of greatest metal songs ever recorded. I'd say the vast majority we may not necessarily agree with insofar as that would go on our list, but there was far more that we thought were at least half decent choices compared to the number of songs that had us thinking, what the fuck is that doing on there,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there was 2 I had that you thought was shit, and I think there's 2 you had that I thought was shit. Other than that, it was like, I'm not going to say it's shit. It's not my cup of tea, which is worlds away from saying that's shit. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, you know me well enough. If I do think something is shit, I will say it. So the fact that I was saying, it's not my thing. That is certainly an accurate summing up. That
Mind
one
you,
that you had earlier on today. Go on.
say that one, the typo negative one. With that one, you didn't actually say that was shit though. You said you'd rather it was 2 minutes shorter and instrumental. You said the music. You said the music was fine. So, mind you, I've said that about quite a few of the black metal ones.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, with that one, the music was great. It was just the singing that I detested. I thought the singing was shit, so there's no other way of putting it. But the actual music itself was fucking great. Lop off the 2 minutes at the end and make it instrumental, and boss, you got a great one. But don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, no, not in my end of the world, anyway.
No. But there we are at long last. All four parts done. 80 songs for you to work your way through. If you're a metal fan of any kind, there is surely something there that that may be new to you and will you'll feel like checking out as a result of watching this thing.
I'm also going to add, we've put the fucking effort in because it's nearly 5:15 in the morning, so just fucking remember that.
Yes. 16 hours recorded over 2 days. I am going to need a bit of a break from doing videos after this.
I think tomorrow night we'll play Elite, eh?
I think so. Yeah, we've lost almost the entire weekend of eliting, so we need to catch up a bit there. There you go. So we are about to play out with another Solitude Eternus song, and I'll also put in like a sort of, not so much an end credits, but I'll have all 40 of our choices scrolling up while that song is playing. So you've got a bit of a recap there. You can fucking try keeping up with that lot, especially when the Abruptum song comes along, and get an 81st song to listen to in the process. And we are done, very much so. With all that said, it is now very much time to say go away.